Picture this: a seemingly ordinary day at Lily's high school. In the bustling hallways amidst the chatter and laughter, Lily moved with an air of quietude. On the surface, she was like any other student, but there was something different about her. An undercurrent of something extraordinary, waiting to burst forth. As the day progressed, strange things began to happen. When Lily was in the throes of an algebra problem, her pencil began to spin mysteriously on the table. When she felt a pang of frustration during a history debate, the chalk on the blackboard inexplicably shattered into a cloud of dust. When she felt the sting of embarrassment during gym class, the basketball hoop bent in a way physics couldn't explain. These occurrences, though subtle, didn't escape Lily's attention. She could feel a strange connection, an unseen thread linking her emotions to these peculiar events. It was as if her feelings were seeping out, influencing the world around her. Yet the idea seemed too absurd. Superpowers were the stuff of comic books and movies, not real life. The confusion and fear started creeping in, like a shadow growing longer with the setting sun. She wondered, was she imagining things, or was there something more, something inexplicable at play here? Questions swirled in her mind like a tempest, but answers were as elusive as the wind. As she walked home, the world around her seemed to hum with a strange energy. The trees whispered secrets in the wind, the streetlights flickered like stars winking at her. She felt a pull, a yearning to understand this strange connection she had with the world around her. Despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, there was an undercurrent of excitement, a spark of something extraordinary in the mundane. It was as if she was on the brink of a grand adventure, standing at the edge of a precipice, ready to dive into the unknown. As the day came to an end, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary was about to happen. The next day, the school organized a trip to a local museum, a trip that would change Lily's life forever. The museum was an eclectic mix of history and science, brimming with ancient artifacts and cutting-edge technology. But, unbeknownst to Lily, the day was about to turn into a lot more than just a learning experience. As they moved through the exhibits, a towering dinosaur skeleton loomed over them. The structure, impressive in its size, was a marvel to behold. But the marvel soon turned into a menace. A sudden tremor shook the museum. The skeleton, unstable, began to teeter precariously, threatening to crush a fellow student standing beneath it. In the blink of an eye, Lily's world slowed down. She watched in horror as the massive structure started to topple. But then, something curious happened. With a wave of her hand, almost instinctively, the descending skeleton froze in mid-air. A collective gasp filled the room. The skeleton hung suspended, defying gravity, as if held by an invisible force. And the force was Lily. She had just discovered her telekinetic powers. The room fell into a stunned silence. Lily, too, was shocked. She looked at her hands, then back at the frozen skeleton, and finally at her classmates. She was afraid, yes, but also strangely relieved. She had saved her schoolmate from a grave danger. But with the revelation came a wave of questions. How did she do it? Why her? Was this a one-time thing, or could she do it again? And most importantly, what was she going to do now? As Lily grappled with these questions, one thing became clear: her life was about to take a turn. She was no longer just Lily, the average schoolgirl. She was Lily, the girl with a superpower. And with this power came great responsibility. In that moment, Lily knew her life was never going to be the same. The following weeks were a whirlwind for Lily as she struggled to understand and control her newfound powers. Each day was like a new chapter in a book, filled with revelations, surprises, and not to mention, a fair share of blunders. She had to practice in secret, away from prying eyes, to ensure her secret was safe. This meant late nights in the solitude of her room and early mornings in the quiet of the park. These were times when the world was still asleep, oblivious to the extraordinary spectacle unfolding right under their noses. Lily's powers were unpredictable, and at times quite unruly. One moment she could lift a pencil with a mere flick of her fingers, and the next, she'd be struggling to control a gust of wind. But with every setback, Lily's resolve only strengthened. She was determined to master her powers, not out of fear, but from a sense of responsibility. She knew she was gifted with something special, and she intended to use it for good. Each day was a new lesson, Each failure, a stepping stone to success. There were times when she felt like giving up, times when the weight of her secret seemed too heavy to bear. But she pressed on, fueled by an unyielding spirit and an unwavering belief in herself. Gradually, she started to get the hang of it. She learned to channel her energy, to focus her mind, and to control her powers with precision. What was once a chaotic whirlwind of energy was now a controlled stream, ready to be directed at will. Lily's journey was not easy, but it was rewarding. With every passing day, she was becoming more adept at using her powers. She was no longer the scared girl who discovered her powers on a school trip. She was evolving, transforming into someone stronger, someone braver, someone extraordinary. With each passing day, Lily was becoming more confident and skillful in using her powers. However, it was a dangerous incident in her neighborhood that truly tested Lily's courage and control over her powers. Imagine a peaceful day transforming into a nightmare in a matter of seconds. Out of nowhere, a massive fire breaks out in a local building. The sky is painted with hues of terror and despair. But amidst this chaos, a glimmer of hope emerges. And that's our brave Lily. With her heart pounding like a drum, she doesn't hesitate for even a moment. She rushes to the scene, her mind focused on the task at hand. The heat of the fire is intense, but the resolve in Lily's heart is stronger. She can hear the screams of the trapped residents echoing in her ears, their fear amplifying her determination. As she approaches the building, she takes a deep breath, summoning her powers. It's not just about controlling her abilities now, it's about harnessing them to save lives. She feels the surge of energy within her, ready to be unleashed. With a swift motion, she uses her powers, creating a protective shield around herself. Into the raging inferno she steps, the flames licking her shield but not penetrating it. Her powers are holding up, her control unwavering. She navigates through the smoke and debris, reaching the trapped residents one by one. She uses her powers to lift them, to shield them, to guide them out of the nightmare and into safety. Each rescue strengthens her resolve, her powers becoming an extension of her will. She's no longer the girl who discovered her abilities on a school trip. She's a hero, using her powers to make a difference, to save lives. As the last of the residents are brought to safety, the relief on their faces mirrors the pride in Lily's heart. She's done it. She's saved them. In the face of danger, she has not only showcased her control and bravery, but has also accepted her superpowers. In the face of danger, Lily had not only saved lives, but had also accepted her superpowers. From that day forward, Lily wasn't just an ordinary schoolgirl anymore. She had become something more, something extraordinary. A spark had ignited within her, a blazing fire of potential and power that she could no longer keep hidden. Not when there were lives at stake, not when she could make a difference. Being a student by day and a local superhero by night wasn't easy. There were days when the weight of her double life threatened to crush her. But each time, she would remember the people she'd saved, the smiles she'd brought to their faces, and the hope she'd instilled in their hearts. That was her fuel, her motivation. That was what kept her going. Lily had to be discreet, though. She couldn't afford to let her secret slip out. She became an expert at juggling her studies with her superhero duties, excelling in both areas. Her teachers praised her academic achievements, unaware of the heroic feats she accomplished after school. But it wasn't just about saving lives for Lily. It was about making a difference, no matter how small. She would help an old lady cross the street, rescue a cat stuck in a tree, or even help her classmates with their homework. To her, every act of kindness mattered. Through her actions, Lily started to inspire others around her. People began to notice the positive changes in their community, the sense of safety and unity that had started to grow. They didn't know who was behind it, but they were grateful nonetheless. In those quiet moments when she was alone, Lily would look at her reflection in the mirror. The girl who stared back at her was no longer just a student. She was a beacon of hope, a symbol of courage. She was a hero. Lily had started out as a regular schoolgirl, but now she was much more. She was a hero. She had embraced her extraordinary powers, not out of obligation, but out of a deep desire to help others. And in doing so, she had become extraordinary herself.